Hello, I'm Jacqueline Dowland, a reporter with the Killeen Daily Herald. Today I'll be sitting down with Marc Payne, Place 5, Cove City Council. What is your professional and/or government history, and how does that experience make you uniquely qualified to be a council member?
Well, my education is in emergency rescue, pre-med, biomedical equipment repair, and home medical equipment repair. My chosen craft and skills lie in woodworking, furniture making, cabinet making, light manufacturing, remodeling, home building, and individual business development. Over the last 40 years, I've collected rental and commercial lease properties, which I remodel and rent to tenants and businesses. This has resulted in a long history of dealing with the city departments and governments in Copperas Cove and our neighboring cities. Through the years, and in the last 3.5 years, I've had the opportunity to serve on Copperas Cove on several boards and committees, and I attend many of the city meetings, some on a regular basis, all of which have given me the insight into the city functions and interactions with our citizens. I'm currently serving as chairman on the Board of Adjustments, parliamentarian in Keep Copperas Cove Beautiful, temporary chairman for the Golf Course Advisory Committee, Citizens Focus Group, and newly restructured Copperas Cove Economic Development Department. I've also served on ad hoc committees, special committees assigned by the mayor, and the Charter Review Committee. The Citizens Focus Group is made up of interested citizens that meet approximately 10 times a year with the city manager to discuss issues that affect the citizens of Copperas Cove. We act as liaisons between citizens and the city manager. We've met around 21 to 24 of the 24 department heads in the city and talked with some of the employees to discuss what they do and some of the problems they face trying to accomplish their mission, and then toured the facilities over which they are responsible.
What are the top 3 issues you have identified in Cove, and how will you address those issues as a council member over the next 3 years?
Well, the top 3 issues I've identified in Copperas Cove are A, all the control is under one individual, the city manager. It places too much responsibility and control under one city employee. This council wants all the power without the responsibility for anything. It enables them to take a bow for things that go well and point to the city manager when their decisions go astray. What happens when the city manager leaves and we get a new one? Do we tear the city up again and reorganize? And what is with all the rush in decision making in the city council? They usually form an ad hoc committee and ignore the findings. Now they form an ad hoc committee and make decisions before the committee reports. B, tearing the 4 entities apart. We worked for years to get the school board, the city, the chamber, and the EDC, the Economic Development Commission, to cooperate and present a joint image. And it took this council by itself less than 18 months to dismantle it. It disemboweled and unfunded the chamber and the EDC. Would they like to take a bow for that? The council has a right and the responsibility to question and set policy in all things city, but it's not what they're doing, it's how they're doing it. C, I would like to address the EDD, which is the Economic Development Department now, and the city council plan for the economic development, if we knew what it was.
The City of Cove has had recent issues identifying new streams of revenue and expanding new business in the city. What should the city do to boost tax revenue and court more business?
When I arrived in Copperas Cove in May of 1976, the Cove population had 9,500 and Killeen had 18,500. Killeen was twice our size. Killeen has grown about 7 times that number, and Cove has grown only about 4. The Killeen population is now nearly 4 times the size of Copperas Cove's. Businesses look at all those numbers. If you were a company looking to expand or relocate, which of these 2 would you pick? The slow, lazy growth of a city built for family living, or a city with a fast growth? I would like to see Copperas Cove with strong, steady growth. I believe the way we boost tax revenue and court more business is with growth through a balanced approach to residences and businesses. Cove currently has around 34,000 residents. Over the next 10 years, baby boomers will continue to retire every day from the East Coast, West Coast, and the North and move to our warmer, cheaper southern states. Once our population goes over 50,000 and our income level is raised, businesses and companies that were not interested in the past will take a new look and interest in us, and we will not have to spend money to bring them here. Our home building has suffered greatly over the past 10 years because of war, slow economy, perceived high taxes, and a lack of access to infrastructure, namely water and sewer. To start this ball rolling, I would like to determine the best configuration and direction for the Economic Development Department to provide infrastructure in the form of water and grants to provide infrastructure in the form of sewer to the areas where residential growth is more likely. New houses, the streets are given to the city, and they are new and require very little maintenance other than street sweeping. The water and sewer lines are new. Water and sewer and trash are paid by the homeowner. The lion's share of the new home's property taxes go to fire and police protection and then city administration. The new businesses will fill in the gaps and provide the excess. That is why it needs to be a balanced approach.
A local option election will take place November 8th, during which Cove voters will vote on a proposition legalizing the sale of distilled spirits and mixed beverages in Cove city limits. Do you support the passage of the proposition or oppose it, and why?
I realize this option has been a very decisive issue in Cove for many years, but I support the passage of the proposition legalizing the sale of distilled spirits and mixed beverages in Cove city limits. These products are legal around the state and taxed. We are giving those taxes to our giant neighbor, and in addition to the tax on gasoline, entertainment, and shopping while our citizens are visiting that city. We also lose out on the restaurants that would locate here if they could sell those products. If people want those products, they drive to it anyway. So why send our tax dollars with them?
Cove is known as a veteran-friendly city mainly due to the city's ongoing relationship with Fort Hood. In light of issues nationally and providing adequate resources and support for veterans, how would you like to see the city improve its relationship with veterans in Cove?
I would like to see the city council mainly, improve its relationship with veterans in Copperas Cove by revisiting the council's stand on how they imagine the Chamber of Commerce support of the Military Affairs Committee and the positive effect it has on the relationship between Fort Hood and Copperas Cove over the last 64 years. I believe it would be healing and beneficial for the city council to attend the military affairs dinners and experience for themselves how this event works in the favor of Copperas Cove as a city, build goodwill, and bringing soldiers to visit and live here. I may sound a little biased because I'm pro-Copperas Cove. I didn't plan to run for office. I became uncomfortable with how the city council was operating. I consider that with all the experience and understanding that I have working with the city government, that I need to step up and give back to the city that I chose to raise family in, live in, and own businesses in.